We're back here on Fist Up the Fist Stop in your busy day, and our focus in this final segment this morning is on national security issues. So looking at it from a different perspective, looking at the reality that we are a major transshipment point for illegal arms, ammunition, and as the news reveals every day, human trafficking as well. We've got with us our security expert, Rodney Sammy-Guilarte, and just before we took the break, Rodney was making the point that our society, corruption is endemic almost, and in order to wean us away from that, you're talking about a comprehensive cultural change, not necessarily in terms of, you know, food, drink, music, all of that, but cultural in terms of the values that we subscribe to, the principles by which we guide our everyday activities. Yeah?
You think, let me ask you a basic question. Do you think if this country was fully incorporated, fully realized in its potential economically, that we would have a need for drugs and drug money? That we would have a need to do business with these people? No. If we were like a Dubai or a Singapore, or, you know, a couple other countries that are fully, you know, that are moving on forward into the future, do you think there would be a need? Again,
but isn't that presuming that Dubai doesn't also have its issues with corruption?
Every country has its issues. I mean, most of the monarchies in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East, I mean, they used to be Bedouins. Now they're richer than most people in the world. You know, they spend money like it's rain. But you know, some countries are now adjusting the culture, because it can't be an overnight thing. You have to adjust the culture. You have to have a paradigm shift in the culture. You have to change the very principles. I mean, it's like one of your guests said earlier this morning, are we dealing with the man or the problem, or are we dealing with the principle? Because if you deal with the man or the problem, you don't have, here's the thing. If you don't deal with the principle, that means I don't have to change either.
Mm-hmm. While you're getting that mic down, the question is, are we being, by that argument, idealistic? I mean, people might just say, that's just the way the world is. That's just the way the country is. I mean, at the end of the day, these illegal entities were forged and grew alongside legitimate entities, right, and have engendered themselves in society, in some instances, as strong as the legitimate. Right. And they're parallel, they run parallel, and they're just part of the way maybe we do business in this country.
It's like two countries and more.
There is no utopian, idealistic, all-inclusive answer and way of life that everything's going to be perfect. But again, I make the statement, you know, if good men, you know, evil prevails where good people, good men, good societies do nothing. If we just sit back and continue as normal with the status quo, then what does that say of us as a people? I mean, there are very few people that I consider patriots in this country, because nobody is willing to lay down life, lay down their welfare for the good of the nation.
Well, that's presuming everyone has the same ideology. Some people's ideology may be get rich at all costs. That's my ideology. My ideology is not to be a good man or a good man in your eyes, but a good man in my eyes may be a rich man.
The last 15 years, it's been seen, and you just have to be here long enough to know, in the last 15 years, we've created that mentality for ourselves. We've created a whole culture wrapped around, I'm going to get me, I'm going to get mine, and I'm going to fill my pockets and forget everybody. That's the culture we've created. You know, if there's money handing out for free, I don't have to work for it, all well and good. We've created a welfare mentality in our populace. You know, in a lot of the lower income, poor neighborhoods and depressed areas, we've created this, I go get paid, I'm getting paid no matter what.
Look at the American dream, look at Wall Street and the greed we saw and the crash of the American economy.
Exactly.
Isn't that just the way of the world now?
It can be the way of the world, but it doesn't have to be our way. I mean, people make jokes about Trinis. Trinis like to be like everybody else. Why can't a Trini be a Trini? You know, why can't we be who we are? Why can't we define our culture on our own standards, raise our own standards, establish benchmarks, and move forward from there? It's either we go along with the flow and forget everything and just figure out how I'm going to stay alive, how I'm going to survive, and how I'm going to pay for my kids to go to college or wherever they want to go. Or we can say as a society, you know what, we need to hold our politicians and our government's feet to the fire and say enough, because it's the people that have control. That's been demonstrated in Tunisia, Egypt, Syria, even Palestine. You know, there's been a demonstration of
Libya.
that. You know, Libya.
Let's look at the national security personnel who have to fight the illegal trades every single day. The fact that the country is almost overwhelmed with this influx. Is that an indication that they have given up the fight, that they probably need to be retooled, re-equipped, and rebriefed? Or is it that they've decided, like everyone else, you know what, if you can't beat them, join them? I mean, what's causing them to fall back? Because it looks as though they've fallen back.
It's a couple things. Survival. At the end of the day, I still have a family to take care of. I still want to be there for my children. I still want to raise my family in the best way I know how. I want to take them to school. I want them to be safe. On the other hand, it's not that they've given up. I know a lot of these guys, and they have not given up. They have not lost faith. But why fight a system that's going to lop your head off at the first sign of? They're just, you know, most of these guys are chewing at the bit. It's like a racehorse in the gate waiting for that bell. There's only so long you can stand there without having to take a seat, and having to move into a rest pause position. So I don't want people to confuse lack of progress in our national security services, our police, law enforcement, defense force, whoever, as really being complicit with the process, or being, I'm not saying all of them like this, because of course, you know, allegedly our police service has between 60 and 70% corruption rate. That's an alleged figure that's been presented over the years, and you hear about it all the time. But at the same time, the people who do want to work, who do want to make our nation safe.
85% good police. Maybe last 90 seconds. How effective will be, I mean, if we really get serious about securing our borders, cutting off the extremities of the beast, will that mean drying up the internal machine that's running it? Because you cut off their food supply, the beast might die.
Well, the beast, first you're going to piss the beast off. You're going to tick them off big time. You yourself are going to become a target. Whoever decides to make a stand, whoever decides to stand by the convictions to put country before self, is going to they themselves are going to become a target for every little thing. Whoever does make that decision, whether they be politician, government, military, national security, whoever decides to make that decision, they themselves have to be spotless white as snow. Because they're going to come under scrutiny, and they're going to come under attack, and it's going to be their family, everything that they are, their existence will come under attack.
Rather we run out of time. Thanks a lot, man. As usual. Your insight is amazing.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Well, that's going to do it for today's edition of First Stop, the first stop on your busy day. Thanks to everyone who participated. Remember, Paul and I will be back tomorrow again to do it all over again. All things being equal, the universe being kind, and God being willing. So, on behalf of the entire First Stop production team, thank you very much, and have yourselves a great day, a productive day, a corruption-free day.